Heading to Las Vegas to catch the action at Allegiant Stadium? Skip the traffic and the sky-high room rates of the Strip. Book your stay at the South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa. The South Point is located just 7 miles away from the stadium, and it's a quick trip up the freeway, making it an affordable rideshare or taxi ride. And don't worry about getting here when you land in Vegas. We offer a convenient airport shuttle to get your getaway off to a stress-free start. Shuttles are also available on Raider game days for a small fee. So whether you're rooting for your team or seeing your favorite band in concert at Allegiant Stadium, South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa is your ticket to all the excitement. Are you ready to lock in your bets and cash in on the games this weekend? Get weekly football winners from Alex White, Chris Andrews, and Vinny Malulo.
I did take the dog 3.5.
I'm going to stay with the Colts here. That's definitely going to be one of my plays.
If the Bears have turned the corner, they have to take care of business in this game.
Yes.
Tune in for behind-the-book perspectives you won't find anywhere else.
If you're looking to bet the under, you're going to get a better number.
The wise guys are certainly not going to play the favorites.
I know if it hits 7, don't blink. Maybe that's what bettors are waiting for.
Every NFL matchup, every college game that matters, the spreads, the stats, and the smart money plays.
Is there a way to bet against both teams?
Get your winning edge with Football Frenzy, streaming on YouTube every Friday at noon Pacific.
Happy Wednesday, everyone. Thanks for making us a part of your day. This is Sports by the Book. We are live from the beautiful South Point Hotel and Casino, live from Las Vegas, Nevada. We have a lot to get to in this hour for you. We're going to recap yesterday. Of course, World Series now tied up. Excited it becomes a best of 3. We're going to talk about Game 5 that is happening today. We've also got 2 Conference USA college football games to get to, a hockey game. We'll touch on a little bit of NBA if anything jumped out to us. We have Ralph Sirocco joining us in 10 minutes to talk about the Breeders' Cup. We have a special coming out here from the South Point Studio YouTube channel. So we're going to get his takes now. We'll also dive into the NFL. We're going to look at the awards, how they have moved, future bets, anything that we like there. Give our top 10. We'll go through Sportsbook Director here at the South Point, Chris Andrews, top 10 offense and defense efficiency for the NFL. This is great stuff. You're going to want to pay attention. Keep it for the weekend and when you're making your bets, because things have really come to fruition after he has told us where these teams have been offensively and defensively by the stats and what he is tracking. Last but not least, so you have to hang with us for the full hour, we're going to give out Bruce Marshall's plays for the weekend. He usually joins us on Wednesdays in studio. Could not make it today, but was kind enough to still give us his best bets for the weekend. We'll also go through a couple that I myself like and maybe Ryan like looking ahead to the weekend, because we want to get the best of the numbers. And we know we've got a loaded slate for Week 10 in college football and Week 9 in the NFL. So it's only Wednesday, but we have a lot to get to on this hour. I'm Alex White. Happy to be here with you. And I bring in Ryan McCormick, our producer and host, who's with us as well. Ryan, you've had 2 really good days, Monday and Tuesday. I know you're not that happy because you were 1 off for a parlay. Yeah. But 3 of 4 is very good, and yesterday was all dogs.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday it ended up being a very good day on individual plays and all that kind of stuff, but we did give out a 40-1 parlay involving the kind of sports equinox that is the last 3 days. Professional on Monday, included college football yesterday, and we'll include college football today. But yeah, it was Texas State. I took them plus the 6.5. We both took them plus the 6.5 yesterday. It looked okay in the first half, 28-20 at halftime, and then the second half started, and 2 plays into the second half, JMU scores a 76-yard touchdown, and then 3 plays later, Texas State throws an interception, so then JMU gets the ball back, and then 2 plays later, they score another touchdown, so 14. Basically, JMU scored 21 points in the first 3 minutes of the second half to go up 49-20 when it was 28-20 at halftime. So yeah, I think Texas State might have had maybe themselves to cover in the first half, and that's why they kept it close. Still didn't cover in the first half, and then just absolutely quit and did nothing in the second half. But yeah, ultimately, it was a good night. A lot of good dogs in the NHL and in the NBA. We had the Warriors absolutely obliterate the Clippers. So wrong favorite there. But yeah, in summary, the Frozen Frenzy, all 32 teams in the NHL were in action. Favorites went 10-5 in those games. The Detroit St. Louis game was a pick'em. Yeah. But Detroit ended up winning that game on the road. Totals in that went 12-4 to the over. And then if we look at the hardwood, the 5 games there, favorites went 3-2 straight up, 2-3 against the spread. The only one to not win against the spread was the Thunder at home against the Kings. College football, we mentioned 2-0 straight up and against the spread. UTEP and Kennesaw State. Kennesaw covered by the hook, and the total went under by 1. So that was kind of a fun one there, or maybe flip that. Kennesaw State covered by 1, and the total went under by 0.5. But then the Major League Baseball game, the World Series, Game 4, game pushes on the total unless you found the brief 2.5 hours to get the under 8.5 here at the South Point. But ultimately, the Blue Jays cash the underdog price, get the series tied at 2.
That's kind of been the theme for me, as you were talking about college football there with the dog covering in the first half. Happened to me with the Commanders on Monday as well. But very good breakdown from you for the hockey and NBA. And hockey, you did really good. You said it was a homer pick, but it was still a great pick there with Chicago winning outright and pretty convincingly in that one. My 3 dogs did not get there. My total's 2-0, so full disclosure, I'm a better total better when it comes to hockey, but I am going to take some shots and try and get some underdogs with that good plus price. But let's go to baseball. And fortunately for me, I did get 8 and did push. I wouldn't have been looking for an under, even though until the 7th inning, I mean, that looked like a pretty easy under. But then, Ryan, Toronto did what they do, timely hitting, and they found ways to put up 4 on the Dodgers. And now we're tied up, which I'm very excited about. We will have a game on Halloween, which will be in Toronto. Yeah,
we will have a game on Friday. Maybe spooky times for Dodger fans having to go across the border. But yeah, Shane Bieber goes 5 1/3, ends up getting the win. Ohtani ends up going 6 full innings, does get the 3 earned runs in the 7th to make it 2-run homer against Vlad, and then 2 runs in the 7th to get it to 4 earned runs. Did end up with 6 strikeouts and one walk. But I did mention that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. homer in the 3rd inning, the 2-run homer to take the lead for the Blue Jays, was a $700 million pitcher throwing to a $500 million batter. So every one of those at-bats between Shohei Ohtani and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was $1.2 billion between the guys facing off, and that was a $1.2 billion home run. So if the Blue Jays can manage to win the series, I wonder what that ball will end up being at auction. But that is a different discussion for a different day.
You got to tweet things like that as it's happening. I mean, that is fantastic information right there.
Yeah, but for today's game, we will get a rematch of the starters from Game 1, Blake Snell versus Trey Savage.
And, I liked the spot for Toronto yesterday, kind of Ohtani playing those 18 innings in Game 3, and maybe that weighing on him. Also, we saw almost every pitcher. I thought that was a little bit of an advantage to Toronto and their bats. And really, I mean, the Dodgers, some of them are slumping right now, and a lot is falling on Ohtani. But I think this might be a Dodger spot. You know how much I do like Blake Snell and was all in on him to potentially win the MVP, which is not happening. And it probably is Ohtani's if the Dodgers do pull this off, and maybe Vlad on the other side, who were the 2 favorites for their respective teams. But I think Blake Snell has a bounce-back spot here. I really do. Even though there are some Blue Jays that really hit lefties well, and maybe that is the disadvantage, but he has just been so dominant, and to see that from him in Game 1, I think we'll have his best stuff. But Savage on the other side has been really good. It is worth noting, though, he has not played away from home in quite some time, middle of September. So it's been about a month for him where he's been fortunate to be able to pitch in the games that they have been at home. Now he is on the road, so maybe a different environment, a little bit tougher for him in that spot. But I do like the Dodgers in this one. Of course, a huge favorite once again. So the only way to play the Dodgers game by game, I would say, is the run line.
Yeah, well, you kind of mentioned just the freshness that is Trey Savage. He is a rookie. We kind of made a point of saying that he started in low A this year. So he's gone through every division of baseball to get to this point. He only had 3 regular season starts. This will be his 5th postseason start. So more postseason starts as a major league pitcher than regular season starts from a rookie. This will be his 2nd World Series start. Again, only 3 regular season starts as a big leaguer. So just insane what we're seeing. The incredible opportunity for Trey Savage here. But Alex mentioned it is Blake Snell on the other side for the Dodgers, and it absolutely should be a bounce back spot for him. We've seen him get fired up in games before and come back and shut down lineups. Just to call back to kind of yesterday's poll when we asked our viewers for their thoughts, we did ask which Dodger would have 2+ hits in consecutive games in this World Series. So 2+ hits in the 2 games at Dodger Stadium, and the only one to do it was Freddie Freeman. So last night, Shohei Ohtani did show that he was human after getting walked in his first plate appearance for the 6th consecutive time. But this Dodgers lineup does need to step up in this situation, and I think the fact that Blake Snell, this game is in Dodger Stadium, Blake Snell got rattled a little bit in Toronto, and I think that's why we were kind of able to see the game go the way it did in Game 1. That won't happen here in Game 5. We are in Dodger Stadium. The crowd is going to be behind Blake Snell and this team, so I think it's going to be more on Trey Savage to limit base runners and the Toronto defense to essentially not have all the mistakes happen that happened in Game 1 on the Dodgers side. So kind of, the crowd played into effect, the game momentum played into effect, and kind of all the little things that went into effect against the Dodgers in Toronto. The Blue Jays need to limit today in Los Angeles in order to have a chance and take the lead in this series going back to Toronto.
I did hear some talks that maybe Dave Roberts is going to switch up the lineup a little bit, so maybe that will help them from the offensive side for the Dodgers. But it sounds like you're kind of leaning with me that this is probably a Dodger spot here at home in Game 5.
I mean, it's absolutely priced that way, but I've been rooting for the Blue Jays in every game of this series, and it's not going to change for me. So I guess really the only thing that I can confidently play on is that first 5 under, which is, do we have that ready, Sean? I think it's 4 flat. So I'm okay with actually 4 even.
Yeah.
So I'll be taking the under there.
I like that too. I really do. I think if anything, it's going to be the bullpens, right, that give up some runs again, just like we saw even yesterday. Pretty low scoring game until that 7th where they kind of broke it open. But so Ryan likes under 4. I do as well, but I'm going with the Dodgers. I don't love to do the run line for the home team, but I am going to go -1.5 there at even money as well, and we will see who gets pretty much this first game of the best of 3, but regardless, it will be going back to Toronto, and we will have a Game 6 on Friday. So looking forward to that. It's been a great series, tied up here now, 2-2. I think they're proven that we've got the best from each conference, right, meeting here now in the World Series. So hopefully it continues. I would love to see this go to Game 7.
Yeah, we might have missed the best spot on the Blue Jays yesterday. Series price, you could have got him at +450 here at the South Point, back down to around $2 now. So definitely missed it there.
Didn't even think about that. Wouldn't that have been a bad spot to jump in a little bit, because now it is going back to Toronto for 6 and 7.
Yep.
So that is why I think this is such a huge game here for the Dodgers.
Yeah, I 100% believe we're getting a Game 7.
Yeah, I really do too, to be honest. So Let's take a quick break. When we get back, Ralph is going to join us here on the desk. We'll get his thoughts about the World Series, and we are going to touch on the Breeders' Cup, which comes to us this Friday, October 31st. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south of the border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside.
Welcome back, everybody. Sports by the Book, live from the South Point Hotel and Casino. And now with me is Ralph Sirocco. You can find him Wednesday through Sunday on the Race Day Las Vegas YouTube channel, or on the radio, of course. But Ralph, I'm so excited for you to be joining us. We have a big couple days coming up here with the Breeders' Cup. So I appreciate you coming back, too, because you were already here earlier this morning. Your show, what time is it from Wednesday?
7 to 8.
7 to 8.
7 to 8.
Wednesday through Sunday. Right. The best days to get everybody ready for all the horse racing.
Because the racing back east starts early, so we got to get on early. You know, one of those things.
So you have a special coming to everybody tomorrow too.
And they're going to be part of it, too. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 p.m. Pacific time. We're going to have the Race Day Las Vegas Breeders' Cup special with the handicappers that are on our show in the morning, handicapping the races. They're going to handicap the Breeders' Cup Classic, and then I'm going to ask them to choose one race of the other 13 in the championship series that they like the best, because we're looking for winners. You know, it's a championship time, so we're looking for winners. And, of course, we need you as giving us the ladies' perspective of it, which is probably the only one we should really be listening to. And then, of course, some other handicappers as well. So we're going to mix it up and try to help out people that aren't aficionados in racing to try to understand that this is like our Super Bowl, you know, our World Series.
Well, let's start right there and why this is your Super Bowl or World Series, because a lot of people just follow the Triple Crown, the 3 races in the spring, right? And don't really know much about the Breeders' Cup, but it is 2 full days. Mm-hmm. So can you kind of summarize that and break it down for us who don't really know horse racing?
In horse racing, there's many different divisions of competition throughout the year. There's 2-year-olds that are run short distances and long distances, and there's on the turf and on the dirt, and a whole bunch of different, divisions and specialties. And so unlike, where the Super Bowl gets down to 2 teams to play, or the World Series that does the same thing, there's a lot of horses out there that have really the best in their division at the specialty that they do. So as a result of that, they have 14 championship races covering all of the variations therefore. And the best horses, not only in America, but across the world, come to compete in the Breeders' Cup because it's the big championship day. And so each race is a championship race within itself in that specialized division, whatever it may be, like juveniles on the turf, juveniles on the main track, etc. So on Friday, they divvy it up into 2 days. On Friday, there's 5 Breeders' Cup races, all for the 2-year-olds, turf, dirt, long, short. And that is what they deem the championship horses of the future, because they're just starting out in their racing, careers. And then the next day are all of the accomplished and seasoned, older horses that run in the Breeders' Cup. And then, of course, the Classic is the big one. It's the centerpiece of all of it.
So Friday, 2-year-olds,
Yeah.
we want to be watching that. And I know you guys follow those horses already, but we're going to see some of those horses next year
Yep.
in the Derby and the
Better.
Preakness and
Yep,
in those.
better believe it.
Okay, so that's fun. And you sent out a brochure, which I was looking through yesterday, which now it makes more sense because I saw where some of the tracks were different, some dirt,
Right?
some turf. Can people find that online?
Sure they can. They can go to breederscup.com. They got everything on there, including you can download the actual racing program that they have at the racetrack that gives you a lot of the information, et cetera. And then you can get a little bit of, you can get kind of caught up on it. But, the best thing to do, I think, is to kind of familiarize yourself with the professionals that do it, like in football or baseball. We always rely on you guys to guide us because, outside being a fan of maybe a football team or whatever, or a person being a fan of either a jockey or a horse, they need some professional help, and that's what we're going to try to do for them.
100%. And that's why I kind of was, familiarizing myself with the horses and the different races. But I'll definitely I'm going to stop in. But I'll be listening to you guys' show for who I'm actually betting on.
Yeah, the Breeders' Cup Classic is the big one. I'm wearing my 2000 Breeders' Cup 2000 cap. They gave these away at the Breeders' Cup for the year 2000 to start this new century. Now we're 25 years, we're a quarter of the way into this new century. And I honestly believe that the Breeders' Cup Classic will be the race of this century so far. It'll be the race of this century because you have all of the big horses that won all of these big races that are coming together at one time, that haven't faced each other in mass like this at one time to settle the issue in the Breeders' Cup Classic. The one unfortunate thing that happened was the horse that's leading the 3-year-old division, which was the horse that won the Kentucky Derby, the Belmont Stakes, and the Travers being a very prestigious race for 3-year-olds. Sovereignty pitched a fever, and he will be scratched in the race. But all of the top 3 finishers of the Breeders' Cup Classic last year are back, and the other 3-year-olds that have been facing Sovereignty, the Preakness winner, Journalism is in it. It's going to be one hell of a field.
So, and then, of course, Fierceness and Sierra Leone are 2 of those former champions too from last year. So I did read there's 7 past champions, but now of course like 6 without Sovereignty. But you think this is going to be one of the best ever?
It's going to be one of the best. It's going to be a race I believe the race is going to be set up to either win or lose by whoever wins or loses it when they pass the grandstand the first time. The racetrack, Del Mar, is a mile in circumference. This is a 1.25 mile race. So they'll start right at the top of the home stretch and pass the grandstand, the entire grandstand for a 1/4 mile. When they pass under the finish line, 1 circumference around the racetrack. And I think the jockeys, as they always say, we're going to play the break. What that means is they're going to come out of the starting gate, hopefully clean with their horse, and then start seeing who else, guys that maybe want the lead in the race, maybe a guy wants to take back, etc. And no pun intended, but they're going to jockey for position before they get to that turn.
Okay.
Going to be exciting.
It is very. And of course, we can't give away any of your picks yet. They have to go and watch the special tomorrow and follow you. You'll have a normal show Friday and Saturday morning, right?
Friday and Saturday morning, we'll normally be here at 7 to 8 o'clock. And then, like I said, tomorrow we'll come back with the special at the 3 o'clock. And then Friday, for the folks that want to come out here to the South Point, we're going to have our annual Breeders' Cup seminar with our 2 top handicappers, Jonathan Hardoon and John Lendo, in the Grandview Lounge, which is adjacent to the race book, and we'll be doing a seminar. And at that time, Friday night, we'll have we'll know who the winners are on Friday, the 2-year-olds,
Okay.
so we can gauge on how the racetrack's playing, et cetera, and apply it towards Saturday.
Very good. I love it. And then there will be a
Big
game
party.
6 for the World Series going on. too, after you get done. And a
I
big
know.
party after?
There's a big Breeders' Cup viewing party up at the Grand Ballroom both Friday and Saturday. So you got to come up. It's really great. It's a great setup there, too. By the way.
Any hat contests? Or not this time?
No, that's for the Derby.
Only Derby, okay.
But they are going to give away. They're going to do prize giveaways that day. And, there's big banquet tables up there, so you can bring a bunch of friends. Like, you could sit 10, 12 people around these big banquet tables, and the screens are like movie theater screens, et cetera. And the betting windows and food and beverage and all that. It'll be set up real nice. But talking about that World Series.
Yes.
Now, when I was younger, living in Southern California, I was an Angels fan because that was the original Southern California team. The Dodgers came from New York. And my national, I'd root for the Dodgers on the national side, but I was an Angels fan. So you know how disappointing that whole series stuff is to me. We won it once, though. We did win it once.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, Ohtani now with the Dodgers.
Yep.
Of course, coming
Yeah,
over
they
from
let him go.
From the Angels.
Yeah.
But do you still root for him? I mean, he's a generational talent.
He's a GOAT.
Yeah.
He's a GOAT. That's for sure. And the thing I like about it was so many people were talking about how the Dodgers were so great during the entire year that when they got to the World Series that it was going to be like maybe a sweep of 4 games over Toronto, et cetera. I'm glad to see Toronto is in there fighting and doing that. And what a game that was the other night. My goodness.
I mean, really, counterpunch. They're hanging in there.
Pinch hitter hitting a grand slam.
Yes.
First time in series history.
Yes.
That was amazing.
Yes. We've seen we've seen everything right
Yeah.
now.
Oh, yeah.
In this series. We've even had a complete game from Yamamoto. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited.
I want to remind everybody out there, all these sports fans out there, that, 90% of all the horse racing fans are sports fans. We'd like to get that reciprocal. 90% all the sports fans become a racing fan, at least this weekend.
Well, a lot of people that do follow our show follow yours and vice versa. So we do appreciate all of them. But we need to help it grow more. And it is so fascinating listening to all of you guys. And you have some of the best ever too. So that seminar is going to be fantastic on Friday
These
too.
guys are professionals. They do hard work. And whatever they tell you on the show that they pick, they bet. And that's you cut the wheat from the shaft there. I don't care what you like, who are you betting, and it's the same thing, so it's good.
And that is very important for the sports betting, too.
I need to ask one more question, though.
Please.
Football.
Yes.
Come on, who's going to wind up in the Super Bowl?
Well, that AFC side, it's looking like Kansas City's going back.
I know.
I think the NFC has a little bit more variance, but we'll see. I mean, the Lions I would like to see, but I don't know if they can beat the really good teams, right? Kind of beat up on
one
all
thing
the
about
bad
that
teams.
coach, he's going to play 4 downs all the time when he needs to.
That's right.
I like that.
Yes. Yeah. We like Dan Campbell a lot. So, but it's looking like the Chiefs on the AFC side. It's going to be tough.
That's okay.
The Colts are a fun story, though. We'll see if they can keep it going.
Yeah, after all, Mr. Taylor Swift there needs to get his win anyhow.
Yeah, very true. Well, make sure and follow Race Day Las Vegas. As I mentioned, Wednesday through Sunday, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. You can find it on that YouTube channel. And then a special tomorrow at 3 p.m.
Yeah.
About 3 to 5, right?
You be here.
I'll be stopping in, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I
want to know who you like.
gotta get my form and really go through it.
There you go.
Try and pick a
colored
winner.
pencils out and start marking away.
That's right. And listening to these professionals. So, Ralph, we thank you. Thank you for coming back to see us.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and I appreciate all the listeners out there. And all I can say is it's nice to have a show on YouTube with guys like, shows like this, and the Football Frenzy, everything. And people you guys just you're really spoiled out there. These are good people, great shows.
Try and work hard to give people the best information.
Yeah.
So, we'll be right back when we get back. We've got more games to talk about tonight, and then NFL Top 10 coming to you shortly.
If you're celebrating a special occasion or just love fine dining, you're in the right place. Come experience the crown jewel of South Point restaurants, Michael's Gourmet Room.
Welcome.
With over 600 different types of wines and magnificent dishes prepared tableside, you'll revel in the rich classic Vegas decor and the best black tie service in the world. This intimate gourmet room has earned accolades galore. Come to Michael's Gourmet Room for an unforgettable dining experience. Another famous restaurant is the Silverado Steakhouse, where you'll find the charm and service that discerning patrons require. From top quality steaks and chops to fresh seafood and desserts, you'll love the award-winning wine list and menu at Silverado Steakhouse. Steak lovers have even more options with primarily prime rib. Catering to hearty appetites, the menu features a variety of flavorful prime rib cuts, dry-aged to ensure tenderness, and then seasoned and slowly roasted. Although prime rib is our specialty, it's not the only thing on the menu. There's something for everyone.
Are you ready to lock in your bets and cash in on the games this weekend? Get weekly football winners from Alex White, Chris Andrews, and Vinny Malulo.
I did take the dog 3.5.
I'm going to stay with the Colts, Eric. That's definitely going to be one of my plays.
If the Bears have turned the corner, they have to take care of business in this game.
Yes.
Tune in for behind-the-book perspectives you won't find anywhere else.
Well, if you're looking to bet the under, you're going to get a better number.
The wise guys are certainly not going to play the favorites.
I know if it hits 7, don't blink. Maybe that's what bettors are waiting for.
Every NFL matchup, every college game that matters, the spreads, the stats, and the smart money plays.
It's your way to bet against both teams.
Get your winning edge with Football Frenzy, streaming on YouTube every Friday at noon Pacific.
That was awesome. Really appreciate Ralph stopping in. I don't think a lot of people realize the Breeders' Cup and the Championship Series, but it's going to be a ton of fun the next few days, Friday and Saturday. Come stop by the South Point if you are free. A lot of great parties going on there. But we did have a poll that just finished, so I'm going to send it over to Ryan. And Ticker Trivia, brought to you by City Light Shine, should be going as well. So, Ryan, what was our first poll?
Yeah, to start you guys out today, and in part to our guest, Ralph Sirocco, we went with a horse racing question, and also our first guest tomorrow, Stanley Cup champion and NBC commentator Eddie Olczyk, will be previewing Pucks and Ponies as well. So, but for today's poll, we went with Sovereignty being scratched. Who is your winner pick for this weekend's Breeders' Cup Classic? All odds via South Point, so Sierra Leone plus 350, Journalism 5-1, Baeza 10-1, and Fierceness plus 250. And Fierceness, the favorite of those four, had the least amount of votes of the four. Sierra Leone, the kind of biggest name horse, possibly, depending on who you talk to, is the favorite and was the choice from our viewers. 41% say that Sierra Leone will take the Cup Classic this weekend.
Very good. It's tough to pick from all of those big name horses that we have been watching over the last year or so. So I'm glad you brought that up, Eddie. Joining us tomorrow should be a ton of fun. And for all of you hockey fans, you do not want to miss that. We're going to break down these teams and what he's looking at for this season and what he's seen so far. And then, of course, he has great horse picks as well. So we'll get those tomorrow on our show, 10 a.m. Don't want to miss that. But I didn't get Ralph's World Series pick. Dang it, I forgot. But kind of sounded like he was leaning towards LA.
Yeah, I think he was rooting with his California roots.
And Ohtani there. But we've got a couple more games tonight. Let's jump into those. Not a whole lot for me betting-wise, but that is why we're kind of adding in that last little segment where we're going to get Bruce's picks and then kind of go through a couple that Ryan and I like for the weekend, because I want to set you up for success and not just force plays just because they are in action that night. But a couple Conference USA games tonight. This is one. And Ryan, I think we're really seeing it with the portal, and we've kind of talked about it, but the group of 5 teams where they are, the Power 4 are going after all the players in the group of 5 and taking from them. And then we're seeing that a lot more parity in the SEC and the Big Ten and things like that because they're taking all of their best players. Now we're not having the most competitive of games in our smaller conferences here. So it's really shown up a lot this year, more than ever, I think. But we'll see what we got tonight. Jacksonville State, a 3.5-point favorite. Middle Tennessee State. One of them is undefeated right now in conference play, and one of them has not gotten a win yet, and that's the home team trying to get a win here tonight. And no movement really on this one, right?
Let me make sure. It opened 6.5 actually for Jacksonville State and has been steady down for Middle Tennessee, down to 3.5 now. But the total has stayed stagnant at 54.5.
Wow, that is actually a lot of movement. Let me see where I first wrote that on mine. Yes, you are. That is when I first did my numbers on Sunday. It was 6.5. So people, bettors definitely like the dog here. And it's kind of like Texas State that we talked about yesterday, where Middle Tennessee State not as bad as what their record shows because they've been very competitive and they've faced very good teams. So even Kennesaw State, who's really good right now, lost by 8 to them, lost by 2 to Missouri State, and then Delaware last week, where they really were in that one, lost that one 31-28. So I can understand that, but I definitely think Jacksonville State is the better team on the other side. There is some quarterback concerns, but this team runs the third most in the country for offensive snaps, and they've got a dominant running back. It'll be interesting to see if he goes somewhere else next year. But Cam Cook, he's averaging 136 rushing yards a game, has 10 touchdowns on the year. And then both quarterbacks are very similar with Caden Cruel or Gavin Wimsett. They both are running quarterbacks. Numbers are very similar. So I didn't think that mattered too much, but maybe for some other bettors, that's where this line movement has come from. But Middle Tennessee State, their defense, their strength has been against the run, but I don't think they've seen a team like Jacksonville State. So I'm not going to get involved. But if I did, I like the favorite here, but I don't like to go against this team. So that's it for me with that first one. Anything that you were looking at?
So I know you had made a point of we are going to give out winners for the weekend because we aren't here on the weekend and we want to make sure that we are giving out winners and not necessarily just throwing things out on games that are going today. But being that it is the equinox and I have just thrown things out the last 2 days, I will be doing that today, considering the 2 college football games that we had today. And it will be on the road favorite in this one. These two are both coming off a game against Delaware, but Jacksonville State had a bye after they played Delaware. So really a fade of Middle Tennessee State, thinking Jacksonville State's going to be ready off a bye, the better team. I think I don't understand the move from the 6.5 to 3.5, so maybe I'll have to look into that a little more. But for now, I really like the 3.5 now.
I can't fault you, and I really do believe that it is got to be because of the quarterback question, and Creel has been the better one, and don't know if he's going to go, but I don't think it is a huge drop-off, in my opinion. And I don't want to speak for you. I just feel like when it comes to college football, I don't know, there's something about those weekday games that make it a little bit tougher on me, and maybe I just put so much more time into my Saturday games. But if you're doing the work and you are breaking down these games and you like things a lot, then definitely we're giving out plays. Let's go to the second game here. Florida International and Missouri State. I'm looking forward to this one. I think it should be a pretty good game here. Side and total, Ryan, what are you seeing? And what movement have we had?
So this one is the home team favored by 3.5. Most State opened a 4-point favorite, but one moved just now. Didn't just move now, but moved yesterday. 1.5 down, now to 3.5, and then opened 51.5 on the total, down 1.5 now to 50.
All right. Both of these two did play last week. Missouri State got the win over New Mexico State. We like that spot for New Mexico State. They were right in it to the end, but Mo State did win that one 24-17, and Florida International did not keep it close against Kennesaw State, 45-26. Don't want to take too much from that. But I did make this 6.5 for the home team. So I like the favorite in this one. I guess I'm kind of leaning to the favorite in both. But this one a little bit more with my difference, 3-point difference from my line. So, yeah, I like Missouri State to keep it going. They've won 3 of their last 4. They are at home, and they are the better team. So this one I do like. Total-wise, nothing for me in this, and I think 50 is just about right.
Yeah, this one's a stay off for me. Just the only notes that I would make is that the last 2 games for Mo State were both on the road. They did have a bye in between, so first home game in over a month for the Missouri State Bears. Florida International, though, in their last road game was at Western Kentucky, and they beat up on that team 25-6. But
yep,
they did have a road game prior to that at UConn and got absolutely beat up on 51-10. So it's just a matter of whether the Panthers will be ready for a road test and Missouri State should be fired up after almost giving that one away last week.
Agree with that. I will say Florida International defensively really struggled, 117th in yards per game on the year, and passing yards 125th. Better against the run, but just in points per game too, out of the top 100, giving up 30 a game. So kind of like that when I have the home team that has the better defense as well. One hockey game on the board for us. Of course, all teams played yesterday, so both of them playing on a back-to-back, but we got Toronto in action again here. And we've got Columbus. Both of them got a win yesterday because Columbus was going up against one of the dogs that I did like, but they did find a way to win. Pretty much a pick 'em and a high total, which is expected because we do have some backup goalies in this one.
Yeah, both teams swapping settings. So Columbus was on the road yesterday and Toronto was at home. Toronto now on the road and Columbus at home. This one, though, is priced pretty evenly. Minus 115 for the home team, minus 105 for the Leafs. Total has been 6.5 the entire time, but the juice has steadily moved up to be minus 130 now to the over.
I would be a little bit nervous about going any higher than that. I mean, even my over yesterday, over 5.5, we did get 7 there by the end with Toronto and the Flames, but it was a little sweaty there. The last 5 minutes, it was 3-2, and then ended up getting 2 more there at the very end. But so I like Toronto. I do. I think that's a cheap price for them. But beware, because I feel like I've been fading the Blue Jackets, and it hasn't always paid off for me. They're finding ways to get some wins here, but I do think Toronto's the better team, even though they're on the road. I think they should be a decent favorite, if not just $1.20 here. But anything for you?
I agree. Depending on where you get your price from, you could get even on the Leafs here. But I agree. I think the Leafs should be favored in this one.
Even is even better. Getting a plus price there. Yep. Kind of our theme is looking at our baseball picks so far. Nice even price, but let's take a quick break. When we get back, you don't want to go anywhere because when we get back, we're going to go top 10. That is my top 10 for the NFL. That's Chris Andrews' offensive and defense efficiency number top 10 in the NFL. And then we've got picks for you for the weekend. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on Sports by the Book.
Heading to Las Vegas to catch the action at Allegiant Stadium? Skip the traffic and the sky-high room rates of the Strip. Book your stay at the South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa. The South Point is located just 7 miles away from the stadium, and it's a quick trip up the freeway, making it an affordable rideshare or taxi ride. And don't worry about getting here when you land in Vegas. We offer a convenient airport shuttle to get your getaway off to a stress-free start. Shuttles are also available on Raider game days for a small fee. So whether you're rooting for your team or seeing your favorite band in concert at Allegiant Stadium, South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa is your ticket to all the excitement.
We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south of the border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside.
Let's keep it going. A little bit of everything on today's show. We just hit hockey. Of course, we've been talking about baseball all week long. A little bit of football, and now we're going to get into professional football. NFL, I'm going to start it off with my top 10, and then I am eager to see Chris Andrews' top 10 offense and defense, and we'll see if there's any teams that are not in my top 10 yet that I need to take a look at this weekend. But starting it off, I kind of teased it yesterday. I have a new number one going into Week 9 here, and it is the Kansas City Chiefs. They are my highest power-rated team now. It's not a ranking, it is a rating. So I have a specific number on each of these teams, and after upgrading them over the weekend, they did jump over the Detroit Lions, who are now at number 2. The Rams stay at number 3. They had a bye week. Nobody jumped them quite yet. Number 4, the Colts remain there as well, even with their dominant win over the Titans. I did have them about a 14-point favorite over the Titans as well, so I didn't have to bump them up too much. The Buffalo Bills jumped up, though, and the Green Bay Packers. The Seattle Seahawks did not play. They were on a bye week, but 2 really impressive wins here from Buffalo and the Green Bay Packers. So they did jump number-wise, power rating-wise, over Seattle just a little bit, and these two have been right there in my top 6 throughout the whole year, but I do think that Buffalo figured some things out over the bye week and looked pretty good offensively and defensively again. And the Packers, I thought that was a very convincing win over the Steelers, beating them by 10 as just a 3-point favorite. Next up, Seattle, still in my top 10, did not play, but still there at number 7. I do think that they are a top 10 team in the league. Number 8 is the Eagles, who are slowly moving up as well and probably could make the case that they should be even higher. A.J. Brown, still question marks with him and his health, and just want to see how that team continues to do from here. Denver Broncos, number 9. Been a little hesitant with that team. I did have them very high to start the year. I'd say top 3, top 5, and now they're kind of just sitting there on that right side of the screen. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on the Denver Broncos, but I was very impressed with their win over Dallas and that defense shutting down that really good offense with Dak Prescott and company. And then number 10, making it back up there. They were not in my top 10 the last couple weeks. A lot of injuries, running back, O-line. They got Joe Alt back. They look like the Chargers team that we saw last year, really make the improvements under Harbaugh. Now I think they can continue that, and I do think they are a top 10 team in the league. Right there behind them are the Buccaneers, the Texans, the Ravens, maybe. We'll see where they are, but we'll see for next week after this week if I have any more changes, but not a whole lot. The Chargers move back in, a couple of them move around, but ultimately that's all the movement there. I believe Ryan Kristen have a whole lot of movement on one of his efficiency, and I think that's the offensive side, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Chris actually had no movement on his offensive efficiency, so teams not necessarily moving up and down against each other, but staying as efficient as they were going into last week's games, at least on the offensive side of the ball. But you had kind of mentioned that you were hesitant on putting the Broncos in your top 10. The Broncos are at 10 offensively and defensively, efficiency rating wise, for Chris Andrews. So they're kind of that cutoff of the top 10. We'll look at kind of some other teams to note. The teams at the top of their divisions, the Steelers are only 28th offensive efficiency and 23rd defensively. They've looked really bad on defense the last couple of weeks. And if you take a look at who they play this week, the Colts are almost top 10 in both, top 8 efficiency on offense, 11th on defense, and that game is only a 3-point spread now. So that is also one of my favorite plays of the weekend is the Colts -3 on the road in Pittsburgh. But other division leaders, the Eagles in the middle of the pack on both, 15th on offense, 13th on defense. The Seahawks now leading the NFC West, 14th on offense, 3rd highest defensive efficiency rating. The Rams right behind them, they are actually Chris Andrews' highest defensive efficiency rating. But the team that we'll kind of get into the awards discussion here in a little bit. But the Ravens, 32nd efficiency on offense, 29th on defense, and are still the favorite to win the AFC North.
Not only the favorite, Ryan, because I just checked on this, because I'm thinking, if the Steelers are struggling so much on defense and they aren't going to take that division, what are we getting right now with Baltimore? They're the odds-on favorite.
Yeah.
It's minus 120, so you're not even getting even money there, which is pretty crazy. I think they're somewhere between 9-1 and 10-1 just to win the AFC, and they only have 2 wins. I do believe they can go on a run. I think the hardest part of their schedule was the front, and they're kind of through that. So if Lamar Jackson is going to stay healthy, maybe they can make a little run, but I think those odds are pretty crazy. I would like a lot more than 9-1 to win the AFC at this point.
And then another kind of surprise there on the efficiency is the Patriots are top 10, 9th in offensive efficiency and 2nd in defensive efficiency. And Drake May is a favorite, one of the favorites to win league MVP. So we will get more thoughts from Chris Andrews on his efficiency ratings on Friday, Football Frenzy at noon. Thoughts from Chris Andrews and Vinny Magliulo.
That Patriots one definitely jumped out to me. I saw that on that graphic, which is very nicely done because you can just go through each division and compare all the teams there. But yeah, that one definitely jumped out. And watch, this will become something like Ken Palm, where we, after a few years, we'll be looking at Chris Andrews' efficiency, offensive and defensive, and where they have to be, right?
Yeah.
We saw the Super Bowl champions with at least 5th in defense and maybe top 8 offensively or something. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to follow. It's been a lot of fun so far.
Absolutely.
But you brought up the MVP. Let's talk about it. What movements have we seen? And I guess Drake May's the biggest mover that we got to talk about.
Yeah, Drake May is now the 3rd favorite to win league MVP. Patrick Mahomes has been the favorite for the last couple of weeks. The best price, if you like any of the top 3 guys, is going to be over at FanDuel. Plus 120, I believe, on DraftKings is Patrick Mahomes. Now plus 150 on FanDuel. Josh Allen, I believe, is 350 on DraftKings, is 450 on FanDuel. Drake May is right there for, I think, 475 on DraftKings, 550 on FanDuel. So if you like those favorites, better price on FanDuel. Baker Mayfield is falling down on the list now. 20-1 is the best price you'll get. Dak Prescott's really kind of the one in no man's land. 40-1 over on DraftKings and 100-1 over on FanDuel. DraftKings is kind of just playing the fact that he'll get the stats, but FanDuel kind of knows that he won't really have a case. But Jonathan Taylor and Daniel Jones, as I had mentioned earlier in the week, going hand in hand. Daniel Jones is now 18-1, and Jonathan Taylor is 20.
I wish we would have got a bigger number on Jonathan Taylor because I really think in a year like this you could make a case. Although Patrick Mahomes, after Monday night, really kind of sealed the deal for why he should be the top favorite right now. And it's going to be tough to not give Patrick Mahomes an award like that. But we'll see. There's still a lot of time left in what Jonathan Taylor is doing, especially after a year where they didn't give it to Saquon, or coming off a year where they didn't give it to Saquon. I don't know if it's better or worse for Jonathan Taylor, right? Because then he's kind of has to beat those stats. But they also might be thinking that, like, we've already ripped off a running back. So
yeah, and I mean, if the Colts continue their run, and the Colts are not happy right now at 7-1. They want to be the 1 seed. They only want to have that 1 loss blemish going into the postseason. So if Jonathan Taylor should absolutely be getting respect for MVP. He is the favorite to win Offensive Player of the Year. We'll get there in a second. But if we're going to make an argument that this isn't a quarterback award, Jonathan Taylor will have the argument at the end of this season.
Let's go to some other awards that we have. Where do you want to go next?
Yeah, we'll go to that Offensive Player of the Year. Taking a look at it, and I mean, really, right now it is Jonathan Taylor's to lose, and he is priced that way. Minus 225 over on DraftKings. That is the best price that you'll get currently. Jackson Smith-Njigba is the next favorite, 6-1 over on FanDuel, 475 on DraftKings. And then everyone else is over 10-1, really kind of telling you that this is, at the moment, Jonathan Taylor's award to lose.
We should take a look at how their schedule looks moving forward, kind of the second half, but if it gets a lot tougher. But, I mean, we've really seen them go up against elite, and then some weaker teams, and their offense has been just as good. So it will be tough for him not to win that one. But of course, there's injuries and stuff, so could always look down the board in case for reasons like that. But it would be tough. I like those top three, which you're not getting great odds now anyway. So.
Yeah, I mean, and just taking a look at the Colts' schedule, they've already played both games against the Titans, but they haven't played either game against the Texans or against the Jaguars. So they still have 4 divisional games remaining, and they are at the top of the AFC South right now, so every bit the front runner there. And then they've got the Chiefs on the road, Seattle on the road, and San Francisco at home are going to be their tests. They also do have to go overseas to Atlanta, so that might be one there that could be a questionable game. But again, I think the Colts are hungry and absolutely have something to prove going this season. But if now we want to go to the Defensive Player of the Year award, a man that signed a $180 million contract extension this morning for 4 years, $45 million annual value, the second highest defensive player in league history. Aiden Hutchinson is the third favorite. 5-1 is the best price you'll get. Micah Parsons is the favorite, plus 150, the two division rivals there. And then Myles Garrett, best price you'll get is 3-1. We were talking about this before show, but I get Myles Garrett is a beast. But when you choose to stay in Cleveland and show that winning doesn't necessarily matter to you, you're not going to get a benefit of the doubt. I don't care. If you're a 2-14 team, but you have 20-plus sacks, and there's somebody else that also is right there with 18 sacks, but is on a 13-win team, I'll give it to the 18-sack guy because he had more of an impact winning games, and Myles Garrett is not doing that. So I would not be playing Myles Garrett, but Alex, what say you?
Who do you like then? If you don't like Myles Garrett, is there somebody else that jumps out?
I do think it is between the two guys in the NFC North, at least at the moment. Just the rotation that Micah Parsons gets with that Packers defense, he gets to stay fresh for all 4 quarters of the game. And then Aiden Hutchinson signs the deal to kind of prove his worth. He is at the top of the conversation for comeback player of the year, which is, I guess, where we can go next.
Yeah.
Because we kind of talked down on Dak Prescott being able to win the MVP, but he is the favorite there to win comeback player of the year. Getting a plus price still, followed by Christian McCaffrey, and then Daniel Jones. And I know that Matt had joked you can't really win the comeback player of the year award if you didn't come back from or you shouldn't win the comeback player of the year award if you didn't come back from injury. But if we think if the Colts pull off what I think they will, these guys are going to have every bit of a conversation for these awards.
It's tough. I really like Dak for that one. I mean, just for how much time he did miss last year, and then the level that he is playing at. I mean, he might be playing maybe one of his best seasons ever. So I think that really helps his case too. I mean, Daniel Jones, we only saw one really good season from him in New York, and now we're seeing him play at this level. So there's definitely that conversation. But I don't think we'll be getting plus money with Dak too much longer if he continues it.
I agree. I'm not saying to go spend your money on Daniel Jones to win comeback player of the year, because I agree with Matt. It shouldn't be his to win. But with the stats that Dak Prescott will be getting it as long as he stays healthy, the fact that he has the 2 best receivers that he's ever had in his career in CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens this year absolutely helps his case.
Yes.
Absolutely Dak Prescott. Comeback player of the year favorite right now. But if we want to talk about the Colts a little more, we'll go to coach of the year, as the favorite is Shane Steichen and has been for the last couple of weeks. Plus 120 is the best price you'll get over on DraftKings. Mike Vrabel is also the only other guy you'll get under 15-1, as he is under $2 or over $2.50 or $2.50 over on FanDuel, under $2 on DraftKings. Excuse me. But yeah, followed by Mike McDonald, Kyle Shanahan, and Dan Campbell. So 2 AFC coaches that weren't exactly, well, I guess Vrabel was the second, depending on where you went, he was the favorite or second favorite going into the year, but Shane Steichen wasn't really expected here. And then 3 NFC coaches in Mike McDonald, who was at the bottom of the list to start the year, Kyle Shanahan at the bottom of the list to start the year, and Dan Campbell, not necessarily high priced going into the year, but those guys round out the top 5.
Well, Shanahan, of course, you could make a case for him with having to go to Mac Jones and then now the defensive injuries.
Yep.
The top 2 are interesting, Ryan, because looking at 2024, the Colts finished 8-9. They weren't like a bottom feeder team, right? They were second in their division ahead of Jacksonville and the Titans. The Patriots were dead last behind the Bills, the Dolphins, and the Jets even. They finished 4-13. So you're getting a plus price there with Mike Vrabel. That one might not be a terrible bet. Even though I'm very impressed, I'm more impressed with what Shane Steichen has done with the Colts and Daniel Jones and kind of reviving that offense. If you look at it that way, you could make a case for the Patriots and Vrabel there.
Yeah, I mean, there's absolutely a case to be made for either of those two guys, and they are the 2 favorites at the moment for a reason. And I don't really see anybody catching up unless those 2 teams fall off. And I think the more possible one is the Patriots, but the narrative is absolutely there to keep them right at the top and give it to Mike Vrabel.
Especially if they end up winning the AFC East.
Right.
That's even more reason to look there. Okay, sweet. Is there any more awards?
We can run through offensive and the Rookie of the Year awards real quick.
Yes.
So we'll go with offensive rookie first. That one is favored. The favorite is Jackson Dart plus 105, followed by Emeka Egbuka, who is on bye week this week, and then Tyler Warren are the 3 guys that are beneath 10-1. As long as Jackson Dart stays healthy and the Giants can win 2 games the rest of the year, I think it's going to be Jackson Dart's award.
Is it that much of a quarterback's award? Because that's insane to me.
It's not that it's a quarterback award. It's that he took over the job. It wasn't his job to start the year. And then he is in the New York market and he's getting them. He's got the entertainability factor and just the swag to him that I think gives him the case. But there's absolutely an argument to be made for Emeka Egbuka with the injury concerns that the Bucs have had so far this year and just the kind of stud that he is. And then Tyler Warren, we've talked about the Colts plenty so far. But yeah, those guys are absolutely are part of the conversation.
Well, I kind of worry it's not going to get easier for the Giants now. I think it's just going to get even tougher without Scadaboo and, without Neighbors too already. So
that's what I'm saying.
I don't know. Yeah.
If they're able to win another 2 games and kind of be competitive, I still think Jackson Dart's going to have that media bias behind him.
I think they might need 3 or 4. Win total was 5.5.
Yeah.
I think if they get over their win total, now we're making. We could start that conversation, but
I guess another part also plays into it is when does the media start to turn on Brian Daboll? I don't think it's not happening quick enough. But yes, that would be another hesitation and kind of argument for one of the other guys.
That
would steer me away from going on Jackson Dart. Brian Daboll is praying that Jackson Dart saves his job, and I don't. Granted, decision's much higher than me, but
unless they flip it and say, despite playing for Brian Daboll and him kind of shoving him in there to try to save his job, look at what Jackson Dart did for his team.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting. I like Tyler Warren. I've been saying it. I gotta place a bet. 5-1 is the best I could still get, right?
Yep. 5-1 over on FanDuel. And then the final award we'll get going on for you guys is now favored by the other Giant rookie. Abdul Carter is back to being the favorite for Defensive Rookie of the Year, followed by Jahad Campbell and Nick Manwari as the only guys that are beneath 20-1 for the Defensive Rookie of the Year award.
Are we still getting a plus price, or does that say a minus next to?
No, Carter is plus 150. Campbell was favored last week. So I believe you could have gotten Carter at 2-1 last week, now to 150. But yeah, Abdul Carter the favorite.
I wonder if it's worth
as it was going in the year.
getting Campbell now at that 2-1, maybe getting a little bit of both of those two, because it feels like a 2-horse race between those two.
I mean, yeah, but if we're talking about the Giants falling apart,
True.
and made the argument against Myles Garrett for being a 2-win team, it might be the same thing for Abdul Qadir, unless he is that much of a monster, and we have seen Myles Garrett win the awards before because he is a monster. So, but if we're talking about winning, I think Jahad Campbell and Emmanuel would absolutely be part of the conversation, but lower, I wouldn't necessarily go anywhere. Maybe Jahdae Barron, if the Broncos can keep things moving.
True.
Getting 60-1 over on FanDuel, but I don't think anything longer than that.
At this moment right now, is there any other long shots or awards that you're looking at that you want to add? Like I just said, I'm finally going to add Tyler Warren to my portfolio, but is there anyone else?
No. I think the kind of races are where they should be at the moment, and the cases to be made for the Colts to end the year strong and possibly get an MVP, get the MVP case from Jonathan Taylor instead of the Offensive Player of the Year. But with what we think the Chiefs will do and Patrick Mahomes having to prove it, absolutely he is the rightful favorite.
No, Lamar Jackson. Just sneak in there.
Oh, yes. That was the point I wanted to make.
Okay.
Yeah. The 3-win Ravens, seem to be getting helped in every way they can with their division team, the teams above them in the division losing last week. We can have a different discussion on penalties, calls, and whatever. But yeah, absolutely. Lamar Jackson 100-1 to win MVP right now. That's not right. If we get the Ravens back in the playoffs, he's going to be a top 5 in the MVP conversation. So 100-1, absolutely jump on that now.
Yes. I mean, as we were talking about, -110 or -120 to win the division, but then you're going to price Lamar Jackson at 100-1
Yeah.
to win MVP? Especially because I don't know if it's age or what. I hate to see it, but Derrick Henry's lost a little bit. Or maybe it's the O-line. I don't know. But so I think if Lamar Jackson comes back, that a lot is going to fall on him.
Yeah, absolutely. If the Ravens get back into the conversation, the entire narrative is going to be it's on Lamar Jackson coming back. It's Lamar Jackson's team. Lamar Jackson at 100-1. Yes.
All right. You convinced me. Small bets. I really don't bet a whole lot on my futures typically.
Yeah.
Unless they're more like team-based, but not player. Okay, let's get into it. We've got plays to give out for the weekend. So let's start it off. We've got Bruce Marshall, 3 plays for him. You want to run through those for the NFL, and then I'll jump in for college football?
Yeah, so 8 total plays from Bruce Marshall, 3 in the NFL, and then 5 in college football. So first we'll start with the NFL favorite on the road? No, at home.
I think they're all home teams.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. One is a road. Oh, we'll just read them to you now. Okay. The Colts on the road, -3 against the Steelers. Bruce Marshall likes the road team there, as do I. But then we go to 2 home teams now. The Patriots -6 against the Falcons. The Bills getting 2 points at home against the Chiefs there. So Patriots -6, Colts -3, Bills +2 are Bruce Marshall's likes in the National Football League.
And I'm with him too, and you. I like the Colts there. Really just what we've seen from this offense with Shane Steichen and kind of exploiting defenses. And we've seen the Steelers defense not make adjustments. So I'm with you guys. I think that 3 is a good price there. And I like the Bills too. So I'm also on that one. I put 2 on our sheet. It's 1.5 here at the South Point, but you can get some 2s still. I think you don't have to give it out. You can give out Chiefs or Bills on Friday. I won't force you to do that now.
Gotcha.
But I thought you were more leaning to the other side when we talked about it yesterday.
Yeah. When we'll have this discussion on Friday, but I do lean to the Chiefs here.
All right, let's go with some college football from Bruce Marshall. I'll start off with the first couple here. So he's going back to a total with the military academies, Army, Air Force. He's going under 48.5. Got to imagine a lot of running there. Now the Air Force quarterback can throw the ball, but going under 48.5, which we know these are typically under games. But next up, Kansas State, he's taking a shot here, getting the 7 points at home against a very dominant team in the Big 12 with Texas Tech. And I'm leaning that way too. I like the way Kansas State is playing. Bruce mentioned it a few weeks ago, kind of the tale of two halves with their season. And after the bye week, they have been playing much better. It's a lot of points. I know Texas Tech has looked like a wagon, but we still have question marks with their starting quarterback. Might be Will Hammond in there for Baron Morton, but something to look at. So pay attention to those starting quarterbacks too for the Red Raiders. You want to go through the last three, Ryan?
Sure. So we got the Mountain West leaders, Boise State minus 17.5 against the team that got shut out last week in Fresno State. And then the team that did that to Fresno State, San Diego State minus the 10 against Wyoming. And then Washington State versus Oregon State, the Pac-12 rejects game. He likes Wazoo minus 4. So Boise State minus 17.5, San Diego State minus the 10, and Washington State minus the 4.
I'm leaning towards SDSU too at minus 10. I did make that one a little bit higher. And truth be told, I've been on Wyoming too. It was a good play last week, so I feel like I have a pretty good number. Although I was on Fresno last week, so that was my worst bet of the week. A couple potentials I'm looking at for this Saturday that'll probably make some of my contest cards and will definitely be bets because of where the numbers are. But I like Tennessee at home against Oklahoma. I think 3 is a good number here. I trust Tennessee's turnaround more than I trust Oklahoma's as of late. I know John Mateer is not 100% since that surgery, and now their defense has kind of been exposed last week against Ole Miss. Tennessee has a top offense with Joey Aguilar. They're at home. I think they're the better team here, so I like the favorite in that one. A dog I like is Virginia Tech, and I know it's been a very up and down spotty year for them, but they are playing better, and they have been covering these big numbers as of late. So I like over double digits here with Virginia Tech at home against Louisville. And I like Louisville a lot, even though I was against them, against Pitt and some others too. But I do think they're a good team. Just don't think that they are blowout potential teams. So 11 for the home team to keep it close. I like SMU getting 12.5 against Miami, Florida. Might have to dive into that one more, though, because that has moved from 10 to 12.5. So need to check injuries and double check that. I know Miami really put it on Stanford in the second half of last week, but I think SMU is a much better team than Stanford, especially on the offensive side. And I think that they can hang in this one as long as everybody is playing and healthy. So we'll look into that. Nebraska, 6.5. I'd prefer the 7. So maybe wait and see if we can get that 7 again. Looks like it's even 6 some places. Not a complete fade of USC going in that travel role, because I know a lot of people say that about Lincoln Riley. I just made it 3. I do think Nebraska is a little bit better than we have been saying, which I know they had a lot of hype. But I do think they can hang around in this one. I think that's too many points. I think it's going to be a field goal game between these two. So 6, waiting for 7, potentially, with Nebraska here at home. And last but not least, I do like Auburn minus 10.5 at home against Kentucky. I think the wheels are starting to fall off here for this Kentucky team, and it's just going to get worse as they get into SEC play. We saw it last week against Tennessee. They kept it close a little bit, but they just are a step behind these other SEC schools when it comes to the offense. And Auburn, they need a big win here. They're at home. It's a big number for them, but I do think that Hugh Freeze can get his team ready, and they could win this one by 2 touchdowns. So those are some of my look-aheads for this week, for Week 10. Brian, I kind of threw this at you last minute, so if you have any plays that you want to now, or if you want to wait for Friday, which I know you do give some of your picks on Friday.
I guess the only thing now would be I kind of hammered it home yesterday, the Colts minus the 3. I really like that this weekend on the road in Pittsburgh. So that would really be the only thing to look ahead. Not so much in college football yet.
We'll dive into college football the next couple of days and have more for you on our Friday morning show, which we may have Chris Felica, the Bear, either this Friday or next week. We will have him with us with Chris Andrews. So something to look forward to. But tomorrow, Ryan, we already have one of our favorites joining us. So for anybody who missed the opening and when we told them. Who's going to be our guest tomorrow?
Yeah, so Stanley Cup champion, U.S. Hockey Hall of Famer Eddie Olczyk, NBC and TNT color commentator for NHL broadcasts and as well as for horse racing. So he'll be talking pucks and ponies, giving you his thoughts on the NHL season so far and what it'll look like going forward, as well as the Breeders' Cup. So we had Ralph Sirocco, the host of Race Day Las Vegas, which you can watch Wednesday through Sunday, again, 7 to 8 a.m. for horse racing picks. And then, again, tomorrow big action in Breeders' Cup. They had mentioned it's the Super Bowl for horse racing, championship time in horse racing. So getting that action there. So very excited to get Eddie-O on the show tomorrow.
Yes, and that'll be right at the top of the show, 10 a.m. So make sure you are with us early, joining us live, especially if you have any questions that you want us to ask as well. We had one more poll that pertained to the World Series, so let's get to that. Then we have a ticker trivia, and then we have our plays for the day.
Yeah, so the final poll of the day and the ticker trivia today were both baseball-related questions, or baseball-related things for the day. But we'll go with the poll first. Tonight's World Series Game 5, which player will have at least 2+ total bases in tonight's World Series? Going with odds from DraftKings here. So Vladimir Guerrero Jr. to have at least 2 total bases, plus 120. Freddie Freeman to have at least 2 total bases, plus 124. Bo Bichette to have at least 2 total bases, plus 159. And Teoscar Hernandez to have at least 2 total bases, plus 147. And nobody had any love for Teoscar Hernandez, received 0 votes there.
Wow.
But we did have a split vote, a tie vote, between Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Freddie Freeman. So 2 big bats, 1 for each team, getting the split, 2 total bases tonight from our chat.
Very good.
And then if we do go to today's baseball-inspired question, ticker trivia presented by City Light Shine. On this date in sports history, October 29th, 1969, Hall of Fame pitcher Tom Seaver was awarded his first of 3 National League Cy Young Awards. The all-time leader in wins for a Mets pitcher, or the all-time leader in wins for the Mets. How many wins did Seaver earn during his tenure with the franchise from 1967 to 1977? Tom Terrific earned 198 wins as a member of the New York Mets from 67 to 77. Seaver would go on to win 75 games with the Reds, 33 games with the White Sox, and 5 with the Red Sox before his retirement in 1986. Seaver would receive 98.8% of votes in order to get into Major League Baseball's Hall of Fame. It was the highest percentage of votes at the time for any player into the Hall of Fame.
98.8%?
Yep.
Wow. I didn't realize 9 years in the league still after the Mets. So
Yeah,
very,
almost a 20-year career.
yeah, very good question there from our guy Vince. I believe that's somebody we know, their favorite Mets player.
Quite possibly.
Yeah, I think it's Vinny's. I think it is. All right, that's it. That is our ticker trivia brought to you by City Light Shine. And now we do have plays that we want to give out for today. My board, I went from a stacked board yesterday to a very empty board today. But let's get into our whiteboard plays of the day. It should be sponsored by someone. We got to find a sponsor there. I am going to add, though, my future, Tyler Warren, Offensive Rookie of the Year at 5-1, and a little bit of Lamar Jackson. Truth be told, my favorite NFL player at 100-1 to win the MVP. It'll be a crazy comeback. For today, I'm going with the Dodgers. Blake Snell on the bump. I'm going to go run line here, -1.5 at even money. And then I'm also going with the Maple Leafs at -110 or better on the road in their back-to-back game against the Blue Jackets. So those are my 2 for the day. If you missed it, about 10 minutes ago, we went through some college football plays that I like for the weekend too. But Brian, you have some plays for this Wednesday.
Yeah, another sports equinox parlay for you guys. Just a little fun here. So we're going with the favorite in college football, Jacksonville State, -3.5. Going with a 3.5 favorite in the NBA with the Cavs on the road in Boston. And then going with 2 Toronto teams. Maybe I could have gone with the Raptors against the Rockets. But nope. Going with the Blue Jays in baseball, going with the rooting interest here. And then the Maple Leafs on the road, minus 105 here at the South Point. So Jacksonville State, minus 3.5. Cavs, minus 3.5. Blue Jays, money line, plus 180. And Maple Leafs, money line, minus 105. It's near 20 to 1. So a $15 bet would win 280, return just under 300.
Pretty incredible. Yesterday you went 3-1, and it was 40 to 1.
Yeah.
Almost doubled the odds because you were taking some long shots there.
Yeah.
Good. Well, you're gonna hit one by the end of the week.
We're all in fun. We're just pizza money. We're winning it back on playing it single. So
Yeah. Yes.
yeah, parlays aren't meant to be where you win. Well, I guess discussions.
Yes. But you also do like to do straight bets.
Yes.
That's what you're saying. You're not pushing that. You're just betting everything on a 4-leg parlay there. But that's it for us for today. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Did I miss anything? Any live comments that I need to hit on really quick? Doesn't look like it. But again,
no, just some love for you and your dad. Alex and Kenny White are the best from JC Bubba. And then all the plenty active chat today. Always appreciate you guys joining in, liking the show, subscribing, share the show. We love to have you guys get your friends in, have conversations. We absolutely love it.
good. Yeah, and let us know if you have any plays that you really like.
Yeah.
Or even looking ahead to the weekend, too. Maybe I'll use it in a content. No. Okay, but that's it for us for today. We appreciate Ralph again coming back, even though his show had been done for a while. You don't want to miss his show leading up to the Breeders' Cup, 7 a.m. tomorrow, and then the special at 3 p.m. Also, Gone Racing tomorrow. Last big race coming up. You want to check that out as well. Thank you to the crew behind the scenes with Andrew and Sean and Ann and Vince. And then Ryan. For Ryan McCormick, I'm Alex White. We'll be back tomorrow. This has been Sports by the Book. We are live from the South Point Hotel and Casino.